The other thing I'd say that Roger's done really well, which I think is an interesting model for other CEOs to consider, is he's taken over as become chairman of the board, which has been great because as a CEO, working with the board individually as it gets bigger, it gets complicated. You want to get something approved, make a decision. There's a lot of phone calls to make, and Roger's been really great about helping to drive consensus within the board. And then in that role, one of the things I find really valuable is this annual 360 process, which I appreciate that you do, where Roger will actually go and talk to all the constituencies, whether it's my management team, key employees, as well as the board, and say, okay, how can I do even better next year? What can I learn? How can I grow? And then we sit down. Actually, we're going to be doing one shortly where we kind of review that, and I get to sort of hear feedback, and it's been one of the most valuable things I've gotten out of the relationship. It's funny because I do think that the board composition, thinking strategically about it's really interesting because it almost creeps up on you otherwise. You just sort of like add investors and board members, and we've been fortunate at Gainsight to have just an unbelievable board. And I think you'd see that as well as Roger, where people really complement each other a lot. I can't say it was all planned. I think I just got lucky a little bit in terms of the people that came in. But now that in hindsight, there's a few things that I've learned. I think one is that you definitely want to make sure at least that the board's desired level of involvement and kind of focus on operations matches yours. I'm really fortunate that our board, I think, wants to be super helpful in general and wants to be helpful where the company needs it. Number two is within the investor set, all of our investors on the board all come from great backgrounds, and they bring amazing operational skills. Some of them were former sales leaders, or like Roger, former entrepreneurs. And I think we've been lucky that the board has been very complimentary. We then took that further and kind of assigned board members different specializations. So some of our board members spent more time on marketing versus product versus sales with us to get deeper into what we've done. And then, of course, over time, kind of trying to build up the independent base as well, because you add your investors and then you want some people coming from the outside world. We've got one independent on the board now, Kirk Bowman, who's been awesome at just helping us think about sales and enterprise sales strategy, and we'll continue to add that out over time. And for me, just kind of more diversity of opinions and backgrounds and personalities on the board as we go has been important.
A lot of boards are designed where everybody's kind of a generalist, and you're expecting insights from the 6, 7, 8, 9 people that get together a handful of times per year. And the reality is none of them have the time to really go deep into any one area because they're trying to understand everything that's going on at the business. And what you've done that I think is really thoughtful is say, hey, Roger, just focus on this one area for the next year or two. Mentor this one executive, spend a lot of time with them, and go deep in that area so you can have some particularly useful insights. And maybe Byron or Kirk or Ajay or somebody else say, focus on these specific areas, and they can become really deep there. And so you have kind of a wingman in particular disciplines that you lean on when a topic or an issue comes up around that specific domain. And I think it's a really thoughtful way to design the board, because oftentimes it's not structured that way, where it's just this generic kind of level of understanding, and I think, you set a very high bar and have specific expectations for what we do, make us accountable for those things, and hopefully able to give you useful feedback along the way.